You know, this is one of the things, Alice and I were blessed to have the opportunity to start Christian schools and run Christian schools. And one of the things that we found is that in so many schools, justice doesn't exist because it depends on, the rules are applied depending on how a teacher feels today. Mm-hmm. What kind of experience they had with their spouse the night before.
Yeah, the circumstances.
What kind of mood they're in, and so it changes. And children never know what to expect that way. Well, with God, we know what to expect. Yes. It's all in His Word. His wrath has been revealed, okay? And His grace has been revealed. So Paul had just finished saying here that the gospel reveals the righteousness of God, but it also reveals the unrighteousness of men who have chosen, actively or passively, the death and the curse of Deuteronomy 30. The gospel, the good news, demands that there be bad news.
Absolutely.
Because if there's no bad news, what do you need good news for?
That's right.
It's like, Paul says that the gospel has the power to save, right? We just saw that here in Romans 16, 1:16 rather, just either last week or the week before. Well, that's a silly statement unless there's something to be saved from. We're saved from the curse. We are when you say you're saved, what are you saved from?
That's right.
We are saved from the wrath of God. That's what we're saved from. I don't know if you ever think of it in those terms, but that's exactly what is being revealed here, and this is the truth. We were made righteous. That means that we were made right with God the Father. That's the righteousness. The salvation is we were saved from the wrath of God. The focus of the church, particularly in the Western world, and wherever it has influence, seems to be that the gospel will save you from being poor, from being overweight, from having low self-esteem, from not having the job in the world that you want, right? That's what the preaching of the gospel seems to be. Here's what you get saved from. Well, while some of these things may be true, they're simply side effects of our salvation.
That's right.
Think of Paul's...
Those are the benefits.
Right. They are the benefits. Praise God for the benefits.
Right.
But that's not the focus. That's why Paul had a different focus. He said, "And when I came to you, brethren, I did not come with superiority of speech or of wisdom, proclaiming to you the testimony of God, for I determined to know nothing among you except Jesus Christ and Him crucified." That's 1 Corinthians 2, verses 1 and 2. He decided that he would know nothing but Christ and Him crucified. Because upon that cross, Jesus was, for a moment in time, separated from the Father. What?
That's right.
He who knew no sin became sin for our sake. This is a hard thing to grasp when you really think about it, because Jesus Christ is righteous. He is righteousness in itself. And yet, if He became sin, for a moment in time, He became unrighteous. He became unrighteousness. He took away the sins of the world. All of the unrighteousness of the world was there in Jesus Christ nailed upon a cross. For a moment in time. And in that moment of time, Jesus Christ cried out in anguish, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?" I'll tell you why God forsook Him, God the Father. Because God the Father turned His face from the sin of the world. He turned His face from your unrighteousness, from my unrighteousness, for your sin, from my sin. He turned His face, and my sin was nailed to that cross. Your sin was nailed to that cross. And the Father turned His face away. Death is not this silly old body stops functioning.
No.
Death is separation from God. And for a split instant, Jesus Christ was separated from the Father. The earth shook. The skies darkened. This is my opinion. I'm going to say this. I can't show you this in the Word, but I believe it with all of my heart. Not only did the earth shake, Mars shook, Venus shook, Saturn, all of God's creation shook in that moment of Christ being upon the cross. I believe that with all my heart.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved turn